WWE has a massive problem. One that could have easily been fixed, but they didn't lay the groundwork to do so. Now, obviously, one of the problems that they are facing is the fact that, WrestleMania just happened, all the big stories are paid off, and you also have a lot of injuries right now. And those two things are problems that they really can't do anything about. Your Seth Rollins, your Rhea Ripley, even Asuka is out right now, and those are things that are going to contribute to the detriment of the product. However, I don't think WWE is doing themselves any favors, because if you look at it, there's one glaring problem that the draft would have easily solved that they really don't have any idea what to do with. When you look at SmackDown, you have your white meat babyface world champion Cody Rhodes, and you have nobody to put him against. And granted, there's a similar problem on Raw, because you run into the issue of, do you throw Gunther into the World Heavyweight Championship picture right now? Do you keep harping on Drew McIntyre, who has been unsuccessfully and briefly for 5 minutes successfully trying to get that belt? Do you throw him back in the mix? Are you trying to build Jey Uso? I mean, it seems like they are, but then, his win-losses and the fact that he can never truly get the big one tells otherwise, even though he is so over with the crowd. CM Punk's still out. He's a threat. But the thing with Raw is there's a lot of solid different directions they can go in. There's no shortage of people that they could make World Heavyweight Champion. Even Priest, currently he is technically a heel. He's leaning more towards turning into a babyface. So that has more room to work around and change up and add and subtract people from the picture. SmackDown, though, has Cody and no one else. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that there aren't people on SmackDown that shouldn't be in the main event to face Cody, but there are no heels on SmackDown. There are no believable heels to challenge Cody Rhodes. That's why right now we have Logan Paul slated to face Cody in a champion versus champion match. And that's fine. I guess that's something you can do, but I think realistically we all know that nobody is going to lose their belts in this match. I don't know what is going to happen to cause that. It could be bloodline interference. We're not entirely sure. This kind of feels like a waste. It kind of feels like we're not doing anything with the U.S. title. There's really no mobility with the U.S. title, so it feels like a waste to put Logan Paul in that match with Cody and still have that belt on him. Either the main event picture is so weak that all of your people that could go against Cody are technically now mid-carders, making the mid-card strong. Or if you want to make those people main eventers, now the problem is we don't have a mid-card. And everyone that could potentially face Cody is currently leaning babyface, and they're currently in that in-between limbo. That's why we got AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes, because there are no heels. AJ Styles, even though he is kind of an in-betweener, he's the only person that is, world title picture, but also a heel. Obviously, they just moved Shinsuke Nakamura to SmackDown, but, how many of us really want to see Shinsuke versus Cody again? Knowing that Shinsuke is not going to get his moment, knowing that he's not going to have any type of meaningful payoff in a feud with Cody. Because they just did that on Raw, right before the Royal Rumble, right? I think. Yeah, it had to have been, tail end of 2023, beginning of 2024 on Raw. But when you look at who you have on SmackDown, your options are you could turn LA Knight heel, but he's so over that it really doesn't matter. And especially if you want Cody to keep the belt until SummerSlam, you don't want to feed a white-hot LA Knight straight to Cody when you know that, you're looking for the feud with The Rock at SummerSlam and then maybe even wrapping it back around to Roman at WrestleMania 41. Not sure where they're going with that, but you definitely don't want to do that. Bobby Lashley is an option, but they tried to turn him heel and the fans did not react well to that because he's old. He's kind of a legend around these parts. So fans are going to cheer him regardless. I think it's too early to put Carmelo Hayes in the world title picture, but at this point, I would rather see him do a 2-3 match run with Cody than I would see Logan Paul. I also think that them not really knowing where to take the new bloodline right now is detrimental to Cody's run as well, because the easy thing to do would be throw Solo or Tama Tonga or somebody with the bloodline at Cody to avenge the loss that just happened at WrestleMania. but maybe that story doesn't need to be told yet. Maybe the long-termness of this story is setting up for something different or something bigger. There's always, Randy and Kevin, currently baby faces. You could turn either one of them heel and have them go against Cody, but I think that puts us in the same type of situation that we would be in trying to turn Bobby Lashley heel, is that Randy is so over with the crowd right now. Even as, peak apex predator viper, like, the crowd would still be on his side. Same thing with Kevin. Kevin's so over with everybody, and even as a heel, I'd be rooting for Kevin Owens. Like, that might just be me, but it's definitely kind of a problem in my opinion. I feel like us as wrestling fans are currently pigeonholed a bit, just because I can see them laying the groundwork of trying to tell long-term stories, but right now it just feels like a lot of this is filler to get us to the next point. And I feel like if they had done a better job in the draft of moving people across brands, we wouldn't be in this situation. The big one for me is I wish Braun Breaker would have stayed on SmackDown, because he's the perfect person to play that role of, he's young, but they're building him up big, and you throw him against Cody. And I feel like it would be believable to be like, holy shit, is Braun Breaker really about to beat Cody Rhodes? Like, in the back of our minds, we would know that's not going to happen. But a part of it would be like, are they about to pull the trigger on Braun Breaker? Like, I don't know. I feel like the current pool of people they have to go against Cody, it's very unbelievable, any of them in matches against Cody. Someone mentioned to me that maybe Andrade will get a shot at the WWE Championship, which, I mean, maybe he does. He's kind of in between, so it'd be easy to turn him heel. And honestly, that would probably be a great match, so I'm kind of on board for that. But yeah, I mean, right now, we're just playing filler until it's time to get to Cody versus Rock at SummerSlam. Also, I mean, from Raw, Gunther, I thought they were going to throw him immediately into a feud with Cody. Granted, he just got the Intercontinental Championship off of him, but I felt like he was going to get immediately propelled into the World Heavyweight Championship picture or the WWE Championship picture. I felt like, I would rather see Gunther versus Cody than Gunther versus really anybody that could hold the World Heavyweight Championship. So it was a little disappointing to see that, because, I mean, what would you rather see, Gunther versus Priest or Gunther versus Cody? Let's be real. Overall, though, there's just not enough heels, and somebody's going to turn, and it just needs to be somebody that can be a good heel. They could even be a good in-betweener. Like, maybe Bobby Lashley isn't a full-blown heel, but he needs to be... We need people on SmackDown who are believable in the fact that maybe they could beat Cody, maybe WWE would book them to beat Cody, but also at the same time, like, main event caliber, and there's just not very much of that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they put Santos Escobar for a run against Cody real quick, just because he's probably SmackDown's top heel right now, which is sad, but he is. Like, he doesn't get that much pop from the crowd, but outside of the bloodline, it's probably him. I don't know, though, man. Maybe they can do some fun stuff. Maybe they can have Pretty Deadly be in like a 2-on-1 match against Cody on SmackDown, just so it's like whoever, if one of them can pin, obviously they won't, because they're Pretty Deadly, but if one of them can pin Cody, they get the championship. Fun stuff like that. I feel like if you don't have like a lot of stuff built up, similarly to like Triple H in like 2004, 2005 on Raw, when you don't want the same people to keep losing to your champion, you do weird stuff like have him go against Eugene for the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. Anyways, that's my video. Yeah, there's just like not enough heels, and it's probably due to the fact that we just had such a long heel champion reign with the WWE Championship, as well as the Intercontinental Championship. So it kind of feels like there's nothing for someone to chase. It just feels like Cody is here to be honorable and defend his belt. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like for me and subscribe to Lunch Break Wrestling for more wrestling content, and I'll see you in the next one.